In 1974, there were 2,400 A&W drive-ins across America, more than McDonald's, more than Burger King, more than all of them. You pulled into a parking spot, rolled down your window, and a girl in a uniform hooked a metal tray to your door with everything your family needed to be happy for 30 minutes. Today, most of those drive-ins are gone, and so is everything that was on that tray. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where you are watching from. Number 25 vanished the day they stopped making the gallon jug. Number 14 had a name so ridiculous it should not have worked, and it worked perfectly. And number 1, that smell, the one that hit you before you even parked, is the reason half of you clicked this video. These are the 25 forgotten A&W meals everyone grabbed before the drive-in went dark. Number 20 feet, the gallon jug of root beer. Before A&W sold cans in the grocery store, the only way to take that taste home was in a glass jug. A full gallon of draft root beer, sealed in heavy glass that sweated in the back seat the whole way home. You did not buy a gallon jug because you were thirsty. You bought it because Sunday dinner needed it, because the cookout needed it. That jug lived in the refrigerator for exactly one evening. By morning, it was empty. The glass jug itself lasted years. Your mother used it for iced tea. It was never just a container. It was a souvenir from a place that made you feel like summer would never end. Number 24, the cheese curds. If you grew up in Wisconsin or Minnesota, you just sat up straight. Deep-fried nuggets of white cheddar cheese, golden brown on the outside, molten and stretchy on the inside, served in a paper boat with nothing on the side because nothing on the side was needed. They squeaked against your teeth when they were fresh. They cost almost nothing, and they were the reason the Midwest kept its A&W drive-ins open longer than anyone else. Number 23, the corn dog nuggets. Bite-sized pieces of hot dog wrapped in sweet cornbread batter and fried until the outside crackled. You got 5 or 10 in a paper cup and ate them with your fingers while your mother pretended not to notice how many you were putting away. They were not on any health chart. They were on every kid's wish list. And dipping them in that little paper cup of yellow mustard, one at a time, slowly, making them last, was a skill every 7-year-old at A&W had mastered. Number 22, the fish and chips. On Fridays, the fryer worked overtime. Battered whitefish, crinkle-cut fries, tartar sauce, a lemon wedge. This was the meal for Catholic families who needed fish on Friday but did not want to cook it. For $2.50, the whole obligation tasted like a vacation. Number 21, the hot fudge sundae. Vanilla soft serve in a paper boat, a river of warm fudge poured over the top, a swirl of whipped cream, a scatter of chopped nuts, and a single bright red cherry balanced on the peak like a flag on a mountain. You ate the cherry first, always. Then you dug a trench through the whipped cream to get to the fudge before it hardened. Then you mixed everything together into a soup and drank it through the spoon. This was not dessert. This was architecture. Number 19, the crinkle-cut fries. They were not special. They were not hand-cut or seasoned with truffle salt or served in a miniature shopping cart. They were frozen crinkle-cut fries, fried until golden, salted until your lips burned, and dumped into a cardboard sleeve. And they were perfect, because you were eating them on a metal tray hooked to your car window on a Saturday night in July with your family, and no French fry will ever taste that good again in any context for the rest of your life. Number 18, the onion rings, hand-battered, thick, the kind where the onion slides out of the braiding on the first bite and burns the inside of your lip and you do not care because the crunch was worth it. A&W's onion rings were not a side dish. They were a statement. You ordered them instead of fries, and your father looked at you with a nod of respect because ordering onion rings meant you were growing up. Here is something nobody tells you about A&W. It was never really about the food. It was about the fact that in 1968, a family of 5 could pull into a parking spot, order from a speaker box, and eat together in the front seat of a station wagon for less than $4. No babysitter, no dress code, no waiting for a table. The kids could spill, the dog could sit in the back, Dad could eat with his sleeves rolled up, and for 30 minutes, between the errands and the yelling and the bills, everyone in that car was happy. The drive-in was not a restaurant. It was the cheapest family therapy in America. Number 17, the baby burger. 35 cents. Cheese was a nickel extra. This was the burger for the kid in the back seat who was too small to hold a mama and too proud to share with his sister. 1 patty, ketchup, a soft bun. It came in a wrapper so small it looked like a toy. And for the 5 minutes it took to eat it, that kid was part of something. The burger family, the drive-in, the Saturday night ritual that made him feel like the world was exactly the right size. Number 16, the Mama Burger. 1 patty, lettuce, tomato, onion, mama sauce, 56 cents in 1975. This was the burger your mother ordered because she said she was not that hungry, and then she ate half of your fries anyway. The Mama Burger was sensible. It was modest. It was exactly like your mother, smaller than it needed to be, holding everything together and quietly delicious. Number 15, the Teen Burger, bacon. This was the one with bacon. 44 cents in 1975. The Teen Burger was the gateway. The moment you stopped ordering the baby and started ordering the teen was the moment you crossed a line. You were not a kid anymore. You were a teenager. You had bacon. In Canada, the Teen Burger is still on the menu. In America, it vanished with the drive-ins, and a whole generation lost its coming-of-age sandwich. Number 14, the Frank N Stein. This is the one with the ridiculous name. Every autumn, A&W ran a Halloween promotion, a hot dog, and a frosted mug of root beer bundled together as the Frank N Stein. You got a glow-in-the-dark Frankenstein sticker with it. The sticker went on your bedroom wall. The hot dog went in your stomach. The root beer went everywhere because you were laughing too hard to drink straight. It cost almost nothing. It lasted 1 season, and 40 years later, grown men still remember the name. Number 13, the Walnut Sundae. Vanilla ice cream, hot fudge, whipped cream, and walnuts. This was the order for the person who had already eaten but was not ready to leave. The person who wanted one more reason to sit in the parking lot with the window down and the radio on. The Walnut Sundae was not a dessert, it was an excuse to stay. Number 12. The speaker box order. Not a food item, but the moment that made every food item taste better. You pulled into a spot. Your father leaned across the front seat, pressed the silver button on a metal pole, and a voice crackled through asking what you would like. That wait, 5 minutes, maybe 10, was the appetizer. No screen, no app, just a crackly speaker, a promise, and the knowledge that a girl in a uniform was about to walk across the parking lot with everything you asked for on a metal tray. Number 11, the Awful Awful. 2 patties, bacon, lettuce, tomato, onion, mayo, pickles. Awful big, awful good. $1.10 in 1960. The name was a dare. The size was a challenge, and your father ordered it every single time because he was a man who believed that a burger should require both hands and a strategy. Number 10, the Coney Dog. A hot dog in a steamed bun, buried under A&W's signature chili sauce and sweet diced onion. The Coney cheese dog added a drizzle of warm cheese sauce. In some towns, Tuesday was Coney Dog Day, and the parking lot was fuller on a Tuesday night than most restaurants were on a Saturday. The chili was not spicy, it was not fancy, it was warm and sweet and salty, and it soaked into the bun until the whole thing collapsed in your hands and you ate the last third with a fork from the tray. Your fingers smelled like onions for the rest of the night. You did not wash them for as long as you could get away with it. Here is the part that hurts. In the early 1970s, A&W started losing ground. McDonald's was faster. Burger King was cheaper. The interstate bypassed the small towns where A&W drive-ins had been the center of gravity. One by one, the speaker boxes went silent. The car hops clocked out for the last time. The frosted mugs were packed into boxes and carried away. And the parking lots, those wide, open lots where families had eaten together every Saturday night for 20 years, turned into something else. A tire shop, a bank, a patch of weeds between two buildings that nobody remembers used to be the happiest place in town. 2,400 in 1974, 460 today, and the ones that survive are not the same. They share a building with Long John Silver's. They do not have car hops. They do not have speaker boxes. They do not have a tray that hooks to your window. They have a drive-through lane and a paper bag, and it is not the same. It will never be the same. Number 9. The Papa Burger, the King. 2 patties, lettuce, tomato, onion, Papa sauce. 68 cents in 1975. The Papa Burger was not just a sandwich, it was a mascot. Outside every A&W, a fiberglass statue of Papa Burger stood guard, a chubby little man in red and white checkered overalls, pompadour hair, holding his own burger in one hand and a frosted mug in the other, grinning at every car that pulled in. Those statues cost $1,800 for a full set of 4 in 1967. Some of them are now classified as cultural heritage. The New York State Museum restored one and put it on display. A city in Oregon gave theirs an official bronze plaque. Papa Burger was not a character, he was a landmark. And for millions of children, he was the first thing you saw when the car turned into the lot, and you knew that everything was about to be good. Number 8, the Burger Family Set. Not one burger, 4. Papa, Mama, Teen, Baby, ordered all at once for a family of 4. The father got the Papa, the mother got the Mama, the oldest kid got the Teen, the youngest got the Baby. It was not just lunch, it was a casting call. You were assigned your role in the family by the size of your burger, and everyone accepted it without complaint, except the youngest, who always wanted the Teen. Always. Number 7, the Frosted Mug Root Beer. Not the float, the mug. Just root beer. Just a frozen glass pulled from a freezer, filled with draft root beer from a tap. The foam rising over the rim, the frost cracking on the outside as your fingers wrapped around it. You held it with both hands because it was cold and heavy and perfect. The root beer was mixed fresh in every restaurant from a proprietary blend of herbs, bark, spices, and berries. It did not taste like the cans they started selling in 1971. The cans were a shadow. The mug was the thing. The mug was always the thing. Number 6, the collector's mug. Every year, A&W released a limited edition mug with a unique design. People collected them the way other people collected baseball cards. Each mug was a year. Each year was a summer. And each summer was a parking lot and a tray on the window and a family that was still together. Number 5, the car hop herself. She was 16 or 17. She wore a uniform and a coin changer on her belt. She carried a tray that weighed more than she did across a parking lot full of cars without spilling a single drop of root beer. She made change from that belt without looking down. She smiled at your father when she handed him the food, and she smiled at you when she handed you the baby burger, and for about 3 seconds you were in love. She was not on the menu, but she was part of the meal, and if you can close your eyes and still see her walking across that parking lot with the sun behind her and the tray balanced on one hand, then you already know that what A&W was selling was ever really about the food. Number 4. The root beer float, a frosted mug, 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream, draft root beer poured slowly over the top until the foam erupted and spilled down the sides of the glass. 20 cents in 1976. You ate it with a spoon and a straw, alternating between the cold, sweet cream on top and the fizzy root beer underneath. And when you reached the bottom, you stirred everything together and drank the last inch, half-melted ice cream, half-flat root beer, entirely perfect. National Root Beer Float Day is August 6th. A&W still gives them away, but they are not the same. Because the mug is not frozen, the root beer is not draft, and the parking lot is not full of families who drove there together on a Sunday afternoon with the windows down. Number 3. The Sunday drive to A&W. This was not an item on the menu. This was the reason the menu existed. Sunday afternoon, after church, after the nap. Your father said 4 words, "Let's get some A&W," and the whole house came alive. Shoes on, pile in, roll the windows down. The drive was 10 minutes or 20 or 30, and it did not matter because the drive was part of it. The warm air, the fields going by. The moment you saw the orange and brown A&W sign from the road, and your stomach flipped because you knew what was coming. This was not dinner. This was a ritual. And when the last A&W in your town closed, the ritual died with it, and Sunday afternoons never felt exactly the same again. Number 2. The tray on the window. The car hop carried it from the kitchen across the parking lot and hooked it to your rolled down window, and suddenly your car was a restaurant. Everything was on that tray: the Papa Burger, the baby burger, the fries, the onion rings, the Coney Dogs, the frosted mugs sweating in the summer air. You ate with the engine off and the radio on. You passed napkins across the front seat. You reached into the back to hand your kid a fry. Ketchup dripped on the steering wheel and nobody cared. When you were done, you flashed your headlights and the car hop came back and unhooked the tray and carried it away, and you started the car, and the Saturday night was officially perfect. No restaurant on earth has ever replicated the experience of eating a meal on a metal tray hooked to your car window. They stopped trying decades ago. The tray was not a convenience, it was an invention, and we let it disappear without even saying goodbye. Number 1, the smell. Of course it is the smell. Before you saw the sign, before you parked, before you pressed the button on the speaker box, before the car hop walked across the lot, before the tray was hooked to your window, before the first sip of that frosted mug, the smell hit you. Root beer, draft root beer, mixed with the warm summer air and the distant sweetness of vanilla ice cream and the faint char of burgers on a flat-top grill. It drifted across the parking lot like a fog. It got into the car before the window was all the way down. It got into your clothes. It got into your memory and stayed there for 50 years. You smell it now, right now reading this. You know exactly what it smelled like. You know exactly what the frost felt like on the mug. You know exactly what the speaker sounded like when your father pressed the button. You know exactly what the car hop looked like walking toward your car with the sun behind her and the tray balanced and the whole world smelling like root beer in summer and the kind of happiness that costs $4 and lasts forever. 2,400 drive-ins, 68 cents for a Papa Burger, 20 cents for a float, a nickel for cheese, a family in a station wagon on a Saturday night in July with the windows down and the tray on the door and nowhere else to be. They do not make trays like that anymore. They do not make summers like that anymore. And they do not make root beer like that anymore. Not in a can, not in a bottle, not anywhere except in the memory of everyone who ever pulled into an A&W parking lot and smelled it before they tasted it, and tasted it before they ordered it, and ordered it before they could afford it, and afforded it because some things in life are worth every penny you have. Here is my challenge. Next time you pour a glass of root beer, any root beer from any can, close your eyes. And if you can smell the parking lot and hear the speaker and feel the frost on the mug and see the car hop walking toward you with everything you ever wanted on a metal tray, then you already know what we lost. The drive-in did not just serve root beer, It served the last few minutes of a world that's believed a family in a car with the windows down and a frosted mug in every hand was enough. It was enough. It was always enough.